Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. This is your Wish Fulfilled on YouTube, and we are going to be talking about the root cause. What is the real culprit? Why isn't your manifestation coming in? Why are you continuing to manifest separation between you and your manifestation, whether that is your SP, wealth and abundance, whatever that manifestation may be? Okay, so before we get into the bulk of the teaching, and we just need to clear up a few things for those of you that are new. I do talk about Neville Goddard and the law of assumption on this channel. However, this is not a Neville Goddard law of assumption channel. It's not exclusive to Neville Goddard and law of assumption. This is a Michelle Estrada channel. Okay. I fill in the gaps that Neville Goddard and other content creators and just in general, right? And I'm sure that there's, people that fill in the gaps for me as well. Okay. So talking specifically about why you're not manifesting in what it is you wish to experience. Okay. Why are you still struggling with not seeing movement, SP, or your manifestations not conforming? And this video is specifically for people who have been doing all of the techniques that other content creators, that Neville talked about, that other content creators are talking about, that I myself have talked about on this channel. Why is nothing working, right? We're talking SATs, state akin to sleep, affirmations, living in the end of the wish fulfilled, meditations, the law of thought transmission. Why is nothing working? Okay, so before we get into the bulk of the teaching, let's lay the foundation, some understanding. Okay, so Neville did say that feeling is the secret, and across the board, for the most part, people do agree with that feeling is the secret. Now, the confusion is coming up for a lot of people what feeling actually is. Okay, now I will say, when it comes to defining what a feeling is, my definition does not line up with Neville's definition. Okay, and my definition of a feeling state actually comes from Joe Dispenza, and I have understood the mechanics of what a feeling state is, and we'll get into what a feeling state actually is here in a minute, way before I even before I came across that definition by Joe Dispenza. And so what Joe Dispenza defines a feeling state as being is it's both thought-based energy and emotion-based energy. Okay, a lot of people are talking about, when they think about a feeling state, they either tend to say they think it's just emotion, and then you have like the Neville Goddard law of assumption community, where they're saying it has nothing to do with emotion at all. Both camps are wrong. Okay, in my own personal experience, my understanding, I can say that Joe Dispenza hit the nail on the head when he said, if when you have a thought, and then you charge it with an emotion, that creates a feeling state. That is what a feeling state is. A feeling state is a thought with an emotional charge attached. Okay, that is what creates a feeling state. And so when we think about the process of manifestation, okay, manifestation, there are two different energies at work. We got thought-based energy, and then we have emotion-based energy. And when you have the two of those like connected together, they create a feeling state, and that is what we are manifesting 24/7, is what we are feeling. That's why feeling is so important, because that is what we're actually, you guys, our feeling what we're after. We're not actually after the SP. We're not actually after luxury. We're not actually after whatever it is we think. It's like, we're not motivated by the SP. We are motivated by what our SP helps us to feel, right? We're not actually motivated by luxuries or, financial freedom. We are motivated by what wealth and abundance makes us feel, which would be freedom. We don't want to feel restricted. We want to feel free, stuff like that. And so feeling absolutely not only is it the secret, but it is the motivation for everything. This is like human needs psychology 101. You know, we as human beings, everything that we do, our wants, our needs, our desires, our motivations, our goals, all boil back down to we're either in the pursuit of pleasure or we're running away from pain. What is pain and what is pleasure? Those are feelings, right? And so if we cut out the middleman, which would be the 3D, okay, like if we are just like, okay, SP doesn't exist, you know, cars, vehicles, none of the 3D doesn't actually exist. The 3D is just a projection of ourselves pushed out, right? And we actually have a lot of this flipped. We think we feel unloved and we think we feel heartbroken because our SP is not conforming, when in reality, you flip that around. Our SP is not conforming because we've been feeling heartbroken probably since the day we were born, right? Or, you know, things are happening in the 3D, or we think that we feel unsafe because of what is happening in the 3D. You flip that around and you're saying, no, the reason why things are happening in the 3D is because I've been feeling unsafe since the day I was born, probably even since I was in the womb, right? So feeling, I am absolutely on board and in alignment with what Neville says in terms of feeling is the secret. And what with a lot of the law of assumption, they do say feeling is the secret. Most of them do. Where the divide is at between my channel and, you know, the law of assumption community, the majority as a whole, is what a feeling state actually is. Okay, so Neville talks about, you know, feeling is not emotion, it's just a state of knowing. And if you guys aren't, those of you who are not new to my channel, and you go down to the process, that video that I call Releasing the Wants, that deals with this energy right here. One of the wants, like we have 4 basic needs, right? That's what our ego, I should say, the needs of the old man, the needs of the wounded ego or the wounded inner children or whatever. You know, because when you look at it from a higher standpoint and you look at it beyond, you know, you're not the old man, you're not the inner child, you know, you're infinite, loving, intelligent presence, you know, you are God, your source, right? Then you know that, you know, the need to be loved is not a need of God or source, because God or source is love, right? You are love. Infinite, loving, intelligent presence doesn't need love because it is love, right? And so you look at the basic needs that I talk about in that channel linked in the description box below called Releasing the Wants, which that's how we deal with this, you know, this energy right here. You realize like those needs are coming from a space of lack. You think, you know, you need an SP in order to feel loved because you don't already feel love, right? And so when we take everything back to, you know, we're manifesting what we're feeling 24/7, okay? And you guys, feelings can be both subconscious and conscious. And so if we're manifesting what we're feeling 24/7, you know, whatever our dominant feeling states are, and you know, and you're going to know what your dominant feeling state is by looking at what is reflecting back to you from the 3D. So if you're dominant, you know, if in the 3D you're still experiencing separation from your SP or your manifestation, all you have to ask yourself is, how is that making me feel? That's why you're continuing to experience, you know, separation. So if you not having your SP makes you feel unloved, makes you feel unworthy, that's how you know what your dominant feeling state is, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. Your dominant feeling state is, I feel unloved and I feel unworthy. You know what that is because that's what you're continuing to manifest, right? So, this channel or this video is gonna kind of be like, it has a dual purpose, because some people are finding their way to my channel who are kind of still stuck in the outdated paradigm that, you know, a feeling has nothing to do with emotion, that manifestation has nothing or very little to do with emotion, and they solely think about it or think of manifestation from, they put all of the importance and the weight, you know, on thought-based energy. And I can tell you from personal experience, not just my own experience, but from the experience of, you know, my clients, from, you know, other viewers and subscribers, from being in, Neville Goddard Law of Assumption community groups on social media. That is not true. Thoughts are not the only thing that manifest. Not at all. And if that was true, if thought was the only thing that manifested, you would have gotten your SP, your wealth and abundance. You would have gotten that by now. Okay, especially, like I said, this video is specifically for people who have been doing all of the thought-based techniques. They've been doing SATs, they've been doing affirmations, they've been doing living in the end of the wish fulfilled, they've been doing all of the things, the law of thought transmission, right? And they're still not experiencing union with their manifestation. Clearly, thought is not the only thing that manifests. There's something else going on here. If thought was the only thing that manifested, then that technique would be working 100% across the board for 100% of the people, okay? Thought energy is not the end-all be-all when it comes to manifestation. There has to be a union here, okay? So Neville Goddard even talked about in that book, Feeling is the Secret, I believe it's even in chapter 1, that if, the feeling, something about the feeling, like if you have an emotional charge, you're trying to charge like a new thought. Let's say you have a thought over here that, an old story, we'll call it an old story, okay? You had an old story where I'm unloved, SP doesn't want me, or something like that, right? And that emotional charge on that is really, really, really strong. That feeling, that creates a feeling state that is really strong. And you're trying to create a new story down here that says, SP loves me, SP can't live without me, SP thinks about me all the time. And the emotional charge that you're trying to charge that with to imprint it in the subconscious is not as strong as what's going on up here. Even Neville said the dominant feeling is going to win out. Okay, Feeling is a Secret, chapter 1, I believe. All right, so what we do here is this is kind of like the surgery. We're going in and finding out. Obviously, the thought is not the problem here. You've been thinking thoughts like SP loves me, SP adores me, SP can't wait to see me, stuff like that, and you're not experiencing the fruition of that thought. It's not manifesting. Obviously, the thought is not the issue, okay? Thought is not what's manifesting here, because if you're having the thought, SP and I are together and we're married, well, and that's not happening, then clearly thought isn't what manifests, okay? It's not the only thing. There are two energies here at work when it comes to manifestation. When it comes to a feeling state, which a feeling state is what manifests, okay? It's not just thought energy. It's thought energy that is charged by an emotion, okay? The rub here is when you have an emotional charge that is so strong that trying to override it with something that is not as strong or is weaker than this charge, that's where the problem lies. And people are trying to hit it solely from a thought-based point of view or from a thought-based strategy. That's not, you've been trying to do that, it hasn't been working. Okay, so for those of you who want to continue doing what doesn't work, that's on you. Okay, that's on you. You can continue with the outdated belief and the, whatever's been established. You can continue with that and keep trying new thought-based techniques and stuff and whatever. Hopefully at some point, something will click, which will actually help to, when something clicks, you guys, when something dawns on you, that actually pokes a hole in that existing emotional energy, and then you can start to align with the feeling state that you've been wanting to create. But let's talk about why you are continuing to manifest separation between you and your SP, okay? Especially when you've been doing all of the thought-based techniques, none of it's working. It's because you got something existing here. You have an emotional charge here that you have not addressed, okay? And when it comes to energies, you guys, thought-based energy and emotion-based energy, they're two separate things. They don't work the same. They function completely different. If you try to approach emotional-based energy in the same way that you do thought-based energy, you get the exact opposite reaction. If you don't like the way you're thinking, you can just flip it. You can flip it, right? You don't like the way when you say, you know, SP doesn't want me. That feels really crappy. So you can just say, oh, SP actually does want me. Okay. You can do that, right? If you try to override a real, like say if you're feeling heartbroken, right? If you're feeling depressed, just trying to override it with a better feeling. I mean, obviously if people were able to do that, we wouldn't have depression, right? There wouldn't be a need for, you know, depression pills, for, you know, none of that stuff, obviously. Okay, so what we're going to talk about here in bulk is the emotional part of the feeling state equation. Okay, so a feeling state, as Dr. Joe Dispenza would talk about it, he, like I said, he defines, you got thought-based energy, mind-based energy. Okay, you can think of thought. These are two different opposing, they're polar opposites. Okay, think about polarity here. When you have a thought and you charge it with an emotion, that is what equals your feeling state, right? And your feeling state is what manifests. Now, under thought-based energy, you can think of thought energy as, that's like masculine energy. Emotion is going to be the feminine-based energy. And we're talking about energies here, you guys, not genders, okay? For those of you who might get stuck on that. Thought-based energy, masculine energy, this is the conscious part of manifesting. You know, feminine energy, emotion energy, that's the subconscious. Even Neville said this in the book Feeling is a Secret. He talked about the subconscious being the female part and then like the conscious being the male part. Okay, and so when we are talking about manifestation, we're dealing with two different energies. We're dealing with, you know, thought energy, emotion energy. We're dealing with masculine versus feminine energy, conscious versus subconscious. Okay, if you've got something subconscious here that goes in direct opposition to, you know, manifesting in union, what do you think you're needing to handle with? It's here, okay? Now, that's what people are trying to do with Sats, right? They're trying to override the existing subconscious impression of, you know, separation with their SP. Now, Neville had it absolutely correct, but what people are understanding is the process at how you actually deal with emotional energy. Now, Neville had it correct when he was talking about you cannot override, you know, an existing feeling state with a weaker feeling state. Okay, so I'm gonna discredit the saying that, you know, thought. If you don't like the way you're feeling, change the way you're thinking. I'm gonna discredit that here. Okay, I'm not saying that doesn't work all the time. I'm saying that doesn't work 100% all of the time. Okay, if you have an emotional charge that is really fucking strong, you can throw all the affirmations you want at it. You can think positive all you want. You can do what you want with your mental diet. And it's not going to touch that. In fact, that's called resistance. And resistance actually makes that emotional charge even stronger. It makes it more visceral. And then, you know, it makes that the emotional charge, it gives it more staying power. Okay, like I said, the way that we handle emotional energy is 100% different. It's the exact opposite than what we would do with thought-based energy, mind-based energy, mindset, stuff like that. Okay, so what happens, so you're manifesting separation right now with your SP or with your whatever it is if you're not manifesting union, you are actively manifesting separation. So how do we do that? So what you want to do is you got to figure out, okay, since we are manifesting what we're feeling 24/7, right? What you're feeling right now is the culprit to why you're manifesting separation with your SP. So you need to figure out, what is my current dominant feeling state, right? What is my current dominant feeling state? Because that is what's continuing to manifest separation with my SP. All right. So how you diagnose or how you pinpoint what that feeling state is that is causing separation is you stop and you actually allow yourself, what am I feeling? How am I feeling? Like my SP not texting me, how does that make me feel? And all, you can boil down your feelings can boil down to one of four. You can feel unloved. So we all have needs, right? And I talk about this in my other video called Releasing the Wants. And that's basically how you deal with dissolving the emotional energy that is keeping the feeling state intact, that is continuing to manifest separation between you and your SP. It's a video called Releasing the Wants, and it's in the description box below. Okay, but there are four core wants and needs that, and I call them wants or needs of the ego, wants and needs of the old man, wants and needs of the wounded inner children, stuff like that. Because these wants and needs I'm getting ready to tell you about, you don't actually need. It's a lie, right? So, but I'm going to go ahead and share them. I'm going to recap them with you. So one of the needs is the love of, the need for love and connection. And underneath that, you can think about wanting approval, wanting acceptance, wanting to belong. The flip side of that is you don't want to feel abandoned. You don't want to feel left behind, left alone, left out, stuff like that, rejected. Okay. The next one is going to be the need for significance. You want to feel, outstanding, on a pedestal, put the most important. You want to feel special, one of a kind, things like that. Then you have the need for security, safety, and the need for security and safety is more than just feeling physically safe. Yeah, we want to know that our bills are going to be paid, and all of our physical needs, food, air, water, stuff like that's going to be needs, shelter, but also that our hearts are safe, right? Our minds are safe. That we're able to feel safe emotionally. We're not going to get hurt. We're not going to be heartbroken and stuff like that, right? In that category also is the need for control. Okay, we don't want to feel out of control. We don't want to feel helpless. We don't want to feel like we don't like things that are unpredictable. And then on the flip side of that, you have a need for variety. Okay, you want to feel alive inside, motivated, inspired. You can also think about wanting to feel free, unrestricted. The flip side of that would be, you don't want to feel blocked. You don't want to feel trapped. You don't want to feel bored. You don't want to feel numb or dead inside or anything like that. And then the last one is, let's see, we got love and connection. We got security, which is safety, and then variety. Oh, I think I talked about them all. Feeling important. Yeah, those are the four. Feeling significant. Okay. And so you look at whatever your SP is or is not doing. Okay. How does the absence of your SP, what is that making you feel? Okay. And you really connect to, so the reason why we are allowing ourselves to experience the feeling, the emotional energy of that feeling state, is because that is how you process that emotional energy out. See, this energy right here is sticky. It's like glue. It's this energy, the emotional energy, that impresses things into the subconscious. Whatever belief or thought system you're wanting to impress into the subconscious, this is how you do it. It's through the emotional energy. On the flip side, if you're wanting to uproot an existing belief system that is causing you to feel things and manifest things you don't want to feel and manifest, how do you unstick that? How do you unearth that? By the emotional energy. You allow yourself to feel the emotion in its fullness, because that's what processes it out. That's what releases it. That's what gets it out of your subconscious, out of your energy field, so that you're not manifesting on autopilot experiences you don't want to have. Okay? So manifesting union with your SP, if you have not been able to do that yet, then you already know, well, what I'm manifesting then is separation. And I'm manifesting separation because that's the feeling state. I'm feeling unloved, which is why I'm manifesting experiences with my SP that is continuing to make me feel unloved. Okay, so what do? You go in and you allow yourself to feel the emotional charge that separation is bringing up within you. Okay, now again, for that process of releasing that emotional charge, okay, unsticking that glue, the process of, what do they call that, glue thinner or whatever, like if you have an adhesive that's really strong, there's a process that you put on that, paint thinner or whatever it is, it dilutes it so that you can get unstuck, right? That's how you do it. And so the process by which to unstick that emotional energy, the process by which to process that emotional energy so that you can get it out of your subconscious, you get it out of your energy, is through a process called releasing the wants. It is in the description box below. Okay. You can stop with the thought-based energy techniques. They have not been working for you. Become a master at mastering your emotional energy. Okay, that part of the feeling state. Here's the thing, you guys, because like Neville said, when you have an existing feeling state that is stronger than, and this is the thing, you have a really strong emotional charge of not feeling good enough. Trying to override it with, oh, I'm feeling good enough, when this is still fully intact, it's going to be an automatic rejection. You're not going to resonate at all with trying to feel good enough when you have an existing emotional charge of, I don't feel good enough. So what you have to do first is you have to release and release through. You have to let go of the energy that is already there in the way that you do that. And it feels very counterintuitive. Okay, especially if you've been in the Neville Goddard Law of Assumption community for a while, because everybody is really hyped up on, thought-based energy and how thought-based energy works. And, you can't think that way. So they'll come over here and they'll be like, well, allowing yourself to feel your emotions isn't going to solve your problem. Yes, it fucking will. Thinking has not solved your problems up to this point. You might as well try something that actually works. Okay? Now, if you don't like the way you're feeling, this is where it fucks with the mind, right? If you don't like, so think about it this way, you guys. We're going to stop saying, if you don't like the way you're feeling, change the way you're thinking. If you don't like what you're feeling, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling in its fullness, and that's what's finally going to allow that energy to dissipate. When you actually put your consciousness on what you're feeling in a way of you're accepting it, you're welcoming it. We're not talking about inviting it in. It's already there. Welcoming it means like you're in full acceptance. This is what I'm feeling. I feel sad. I feel devastated. I feel alone. I feel rejected. You allow yourself to feel in its fullness that emotional charge that processes that energy out. What has been going on this entire time is we've been resisting that, and resisting is what's been holding that in place. Resisting it says, oh, I don't like the way that feels. That feels icky. And then you just get more icky, and it gets stronger, even stronger icky, right? Again, the full process, so that, there's a series of, there's about 4 questions or so, but really it's all it is, you guys. If you don't like what you're feeling, allow yourself just for a second to sit in the fullness of what it is you're feeling, and understand, like, why is it okay for me to feel as sad as I do right now? And you can actually look this stuff up. If you will allow yourself to feel what it is you're feeling, I think they said it lasts like 90 seconds, and then that feeling is gone. I mean, and a lot of the times it's this energy right here is what drives us crazy. This energy right here, resisting this energy, we run away. This is why people get stuck in addictions and distractions and coping mechanisms and stuff, is because they're trying to not feel this right here when that would actually take care of the problem. If you don't like what you're feeling, then allow yourself to feel it in its fullness until it's gone. That's how emotional energy clears out. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that you can't think yourself into a better feeling state. That does and can happen. That happens when the emotional charge is not that strong. You can absolutely do that when the emotional charge is not that strong. And that's why you do have a lot of people who are able to just attack things from a thought-based standpoint, is because they don't have a hyper aversion or a hyper attachment. Okay, this is where attachments and aversions are born. It's right here. Okay, so think about a thought, you guys. Let's think about a thought. A thought in and of itself really doesn't carry any weight or power. So why would one person's "I don't love you" hurt more than another person's "I don't love you"? Right? If thought by itself is what makes a feeling state, think about it. You know, you got two people who have the exact same experience, right? Let's say somebody, you know, trigger warning. I'm just hypotheticals, right? You got two people who were assaulted, right? And both people have the thought, "I was assaulted." But one person feels, you know, devastated, while the other person feels determined, right? You got two different, you got the same thought, but you have different experiences. Thought, you guys, is not the end all be all. It's not. Thought itself is not what creates a feeling state. It's the emotional charge that's attached to it that creates the feeling state, that creates your experience of that thought. Because you and I can have the exact same thought, but have totally polar opposites experience. You know, if you know, I can think, you know, maybe you might have the thought that "I'm not loved," and that causes you to feel devastated. And I can have the thought "I'm not loved," and it doesn't resonate with me at all. Okay, thought-based energy is not the only thing that creates a feeling state. It's the emotional energy you attach to it that gives it any kind of flavor, any kind of bearing at all. It's the emotional energy that adds on weight to that thought. It's whether or not you buy into that, and it's the emotional charge that's attached to it. You see what I mean? Okay, so back to fixing. I don't want to say fixing because there's nothing really broken, but I guess. But you know, going back to disconnecting what it is that continues for you to manifest separation between you and your SP. Okay, is you really have to stop and ask yourself, see, there's a feeling state that's in place. That's why you are continuing to manifest separation. There's an existing feeling state in place that is in direct opposition to what you're wanting to feel, okay? And so, you know, the easiest way to really allow that emotional charge to come up to the surface so that it can be released on, so that it can be felt, so that it can be processed, is you stop trying to manifest an SP, okay? Stop with the techniques. Stop running away from, because really that's what you're doing, right? Not having your SP is really it's pushing to the forefront the emotional energy, the emotional charge that has been impressed in your subconscious this entire time, right? That has been manifesting separation. If you will stop running away and allow yourself to really get in touch and accept and even welcome, even love, okay? Now, we're not saying, you know, loving what you're feeling is not going to perpetuate it. All that is I'm accepting it. I'm allowing myself to actually feel it so that it can process out fully. And what you'll find is you'll be able to connect with that part of yourself, which, you know, you guys, if you really look at everyone as you pushed out, okay, the most simplest way to look at everyone and everything as you pushed out. If you understand that you're manifesting what you're feeling 24/7, subconscious primarily, right? Then you understand that the 3D is simply a reflection of what it is you have been thinking and feeling since the day you were born, before you were even born. That's all it is. That's what everyone and everything as you pushed out is just showing you what you've been feeling. That's been creating your 3D, you know, that's continuing to keep you in that desired or undesired feeling state. That's all everyone is you, everything is you pushed out. That's all it is. It really is that simple. You are literally manifesting what you're feeling 24/7. That's it. So if you don't like what it is that's manifesting, all you have to do to fix it is look at, okay, how is it making me feel? And then you work on releasing through that emotional energy, that sticky emotional energy. And really it's so simple once you get yourself acclimated to it. You know, for those of us who have been on this thought-based energy kind of, you know, trajectory for a while, it can feel a little bit unnerving at first, but you'll get used to it. And then you'll come to realize, like, once you get really comfortable allowing yourself to feel your feelings and you experience what it's like to feel that emotional heaviness to lift and dissipate as you continue to allow yourself to feel it, then you'll be a lot more inclined to actually just, you know, not even go the thought-based route and just connect right to the emotional energy itself. And you know what, you guys? There's actually a book called Letting Go by Dr. David Hawkins, who, was he a psychotherapist? Yeah, I think he was a psychotherapist. And I don't know what study, it's in that book, it's listed in the book, Letting Go, where he talks about, you know, the emotional charge can hold 1,000 different thoughts in it. And if you would allow yourself to just hit something from the emotional energy, just allow yourself to feel in its fullness that emotion, you won't even have to worry about changing your thoughts, because releasing the emotional charge, that energy is like the glue. All this stuff over here automatically just takes care of itself. You know, this is what the emotional charge is, what identifies, you know, and owns. It's when you have an emotional charge attached to the thought, that's where you own whatever that thought is. That's when you identify with that. That's when you bought that thought, whatever that belief might be. But when you know, dissolve the sticky emotional energy here, this is the shortcut, you guys. If you know, trying to, and even I talked about this on one of my other shorts the other day. A quantum physicist named Amit Goswami talked about how, you know, yeah, you can manifest from a thought-based point of view, but if you want to quantum manifest, if you want to, like, you want quantum results, right? He talks about manifesting through the heart versus through the mind. This is how you do it. Okay, you know, he talks about how when you try to manifest through the mind by itself, it takes a lot of energy. It can be very tiring, very fatiguing. You know, it's just a lot harder to do if you would just allow yourself to manifest through the heart. Okay, and so this is how you do it. This is how you do it, okay? The first thing, though, you guys, is to, you know, and this is why a lot of people are resistant to it, because, you know, allowing yourself to feel what it is you're feeling, especially in the very beginning when you're brand new to allowing yourself to feel emotion, it feels very uncomfortable allowing yourself to feel unwanted. You know, allowing yourself to feel the energy out of what unwanted feels like. It's very challenging to allow yourself to experience the feeling of feeling abandoned, feeling unwanted, feeling hopeless, feeling whatever that may be. And as you allow yourself, though, to continue to experience, like, oh, if I allow myself to feel that way, I can actually feel that emotional charge get lighter, get less dense. It finally starts to process out, and before you know it, you're feeling at peace again. You're feeling okay. You're feeling all right, which is really what most people want. People just want to, you know, they just want to be okay. They just want to feel at peace. They just want to feel like everything is right in the world, right? But you have an emotional energy charge that is keeping you, you know, keeping a thought or a belief system embedded in your subconscious. And until you attack it, I don't want to say attack, but until you address it from the emotional energy standpoint, your experience is going to continue to be the same. You're going to continue to experience separation, all right? You don't have to take my word for it, you guys. You can continue doing everything, hitting it from a thought-based standpoint. You can continue looking for more thought-based, you know, techniques and stuff like that. That's fine. Do what you're going to do, right? I hope for you that, I hope that it works. And, you know, if you continue, you know, to experience delays, or you're not experiencing union with your SP or your manifestation, come back here and settle yourself and just realize, okay, it's time for me to become a master of my emotions, to become a master of my feeling state, which includes an emotional charge. All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I know that it resonated. You guys, do me a favor. Make sure you're smashing that like button for me. Comment below. Let me know what you thought. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Become part of my family. I love how our little community is growing here. Okay, you guys, I'll see you at the next video.